In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why Palantir's willingness to fight the system is its greatest competitive advantage. In a fascinating interview just last month, CEO Alex Karp told the incredible story of how Palantir sued its biggest potential customer, the US government, and actually won. Today, I'm breaking down that story. I'm going to show you the 3 key moments from that interview with Alex Karp that revealed the company's core DNA and proved why that fight is the true secret to Palantir's success. Let's get into it.
So when you guys showed up in the early days with the DoD and you were offering your services, I take it you were not the prototypical company offering your services. How did you show up differently? What kind of reaction did you get, and how did you convince the skeptics to give you a shot?
Well, there were 2 parts of the, many of you know this, but there's the special operations part of the war fighting, and there the reception was actually pretty much, we don't care how freaky you are, if the thing works, we'll use it. And that's where we got off the ground. Our product was used to identify, basically do predictive analytics on where improvised explosives were going to be placed. And that saved a lot of lives and also even brought people home with less injuries. And the adoption in special operations was very different than in other places. So I would say operational components of Intel and operational components of the Special Operations Command are flatter, and because they're flatter, like the leadership and the people who are de facto risking their lives are more in dialogue, and so even though they have a lot less money, they tend to have more flexibility in procurement, and they're less likely to buy some BS thing that takes 80 years to build that's never going to work.
Okay, let's pause here for a second. This is absolutely key to understanding Palantir's edge. Pay attention to what was just said. Special operations, the guys on the front line, said, "We don't care how freaky you are," meaning Palantir. "If the thing works, we'll use it." That says everything in an environment where life and death are decided in seconds. There's no room for bureaucracy, for appearances, or for how things have always been done. There's only room for what works. And Palantir's software worked. It used predictive analytics, the foundation of modern AI, to anticipate where threats would be coming from, saving countless lives. This is Palantir's competitive advantage in the purest form, an obsessive focus on the outcome. Their software isn't a theoretical exercise. It's a tool built to solve the hardest real-world problems. While others were selling PowerPoint presentations, Palantir was in the field delivering results. This established the company's DNA from the very beginning.
And then that went with huge ups and downs. That went reasonably well, although it was very hard, and up until recently, no one else succeeded at even that. Now they have a lot of defense tech startups that are. The big army, the DoD, was spending, I think it was like $26 billion. 26. By the way, when their accounting doesn't include things like employees, buildings, flights, so normal things that you have to account for, salaries. It's like 26 billion of pure, just like cash. But rebuilding a product we wanted to sell to them for, I think, I don't know, a couple million a month. And then we couldn't get them. Eventually, we had to sue them. And by the way, the golden rule of working with the U.S. government is thou shalt not never sue the U.S. government. So and then the most famous, I won't mention their names, but literally the most famous people in government came into my office, and they were like, "If you sue the U.S. government, everyone will find out you're an asshole, and you'll never work there again." And first of all, I didn't really view myself that way, but it's nice to see how I was viewed. And then I told them, but if we don't change procurement, we're going to be selling like 1940s technology to the DoD for the next 50 years, and America's going to be in a terrible place. So then, we sued the U.S. government, and of course, you never win, but we won.
Let's break down what we just heard. The US Army was spending billions of dollars to build a system they knew wouldn't work, while ignoring a ready-made, cheaper, and superior solution from Palantir. What did Palantir do? They broke the golden rule and sued their biggest potential customer. Powerful people told them it would be career suicide, but they did it anyway. Why? It was to change a broken procurement system that was forcing 1940s technology on 21st century soldiers. This is more about principles. This is a company willing to risk it all, not just for profit, but for their mission to equip the West with the best technology. That's an advantage you can't quantify on a balance sheet. It's not just about having the best AI or the best software. It's about having the courage and conviction to fight against bureaucratic inertia to make sure the best tool gets into the hands of those who need it the most. It's a David versus Goliath story, and David, Palantir won.
And then we appeal. The U.S. government, like, it was such, the discovery literally was, we know their product is the best, we know our product will never work, and we hate them, therefore we're not going to buy it. This is literally what they were writing. And so then they appealed, and we sued them again, and then we won. And then for about 10 years, we were, of course, we were like, well, the French, like Eskimos have 1,000 words for snow. The French have 1,000 words for a mister or a mistress. We were like the mistress of the mistress of the like, we were allowed to be met. We would have these meetings where they were like, we're buying your product, but could you meet us in the parking lot in the right corner behind the truck? And then we'd always have to promise to rename the product so that no one would ever find out it was us. And this went on for really 6, 7, 8 years until about 2 years ago. And yeah, now it's now basically, partly because it was used in Ukraine effectively in ways that are well known, in many ways that are not well known, in the Middle East, both known and unknown, and it's now, demand for it is more than we can satiate.
The mistress of mistresses is hilarious, but it also shows the resistance that Palantir has faced for years, even after they were proven right. But look at them now. What changed? Well, everything. Conflicts like in Ukraine and the Middle East showed, without a shadow of a doubt, that Palantir's software provides a decisive edge on the modern battlefield. The demand is now more than they can satisfy. That is the ultimate validation. Their AI platform, AIP, is no longer a secret and is the backbone of many modern operations. And here's one of the most important points for the future. By suing the government, they didn't just open the door for themselves, they forced or have encouraged a merit-based system where the best tech wins. This has given rise to a whole ecosystem of defense tech startups, making the entire defense industrial base of America and its allies stronger. So Palantir's advantage today isn't just its battle-tested software, it's their role as a leader and pioneer that lifted the entire industry. They didn't just play the game, they changed the rules for everyone, ensuring that innovation, not bureaucracy, wins the next war. That is long-term thinking.
So that's and arguably more importantly, there are a lot of probably people in this room who are investors or involved in doing defense tech startups. That whole ecosystem really got, because we didn't sue the government to buy our product. We sued the government for a different kind of procurement system so that you could prove the merit of your product and they would have to buy the product that works. I mean, it seems obvious, but before that, you would deliver, and still do sometimes, a 30,000-page, complete BS document. That in the software, that's just not how it works. I could tell you how the software works, but you have to see it in action. So that the fact that, essentially we helped bring meritocracy to the DoD, and now there's, hundreds of billions of dollars investment, including people who compete with us who are, bringing innovation to America and our allies. And you see the difference between what we can do and what other parts of the world can do on the battlefield. And then last not least, in my area, especially in defense, it's not really how much you spend, it's on whom you spend it. So it's just crucial to get these kind of more competent at tech, newer. And by the way, the legacy companies also do really important things, but you kind of need, because they have scale. Like you can't really build, certain kinds of things without massive scale. But then, over time, I imagine half the budget will be people whose companies are newer.
This story shows that Palantir's success isn't just about having the best tech, it's about having the conviction to fight for it and prove its value when it truly matters. Their results are now undeniable, and this is what makes Palantir such a special company. Quick plug, if you run a business, this matters. In the last 12 months, I've helped 3 companies scale to $100,000 months using YouTube. One law firm made $330,000 in just the first 5 months alone, all from organic content we built from scratch. If you're not using YouTube to grow your business, you're missing out. Book a call with me using the link in the description below to see how YouTube can help your business scale. If you're finding these videos at all of value, hit that subscribe button. Cheers.